Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. It's about 8:30 right now. It's pretty nice outside. It's a bit overcast and some smoke going on still. We got a lot of fires. Sitting out here having a cup of coffee. I wanted to talk about the the whole flock camera situation that's going on. I find this funny, the way our minds work with this stuff. Um, Whenever cameras and microphone issues come up, uh, it's always a big controversy, right? And then we just normalize it and move on. And then it comes up again, and then it's a big controversy, and then it gets normalized, and it moves on. So with these flock cameras, right? It's no different than any other camera system out there. And I mean, there's cameras and microphones everywhere around us today. That's just the way of life anymore. But we've normalized it, so we no longer see the cameras that exist as threats. I mean, right? We have CCTV cameras everywhere. Your cell phone tracks every single movement you do. Your debit card tracks, all of our computers and tablets and all of this stuff. There's cameras and microphones everywhere in the world today. We're surrounded by them. We have been for decades. Every time you walk in a store, you pretty much assured there's a camera that's looking at you. Um, so this stuff has been around for decades. It's nothing new. Um, but we've normalized it so we don't perceive it as a threat to privacy anymore. But when we see something new, we can say, "Hey, that's new. Look at that. That's new. That's a threat to me." And so, it's that normalization that we've done that has said these other camera systems and stuff are fine, but this new one is not. So it's just kind of funny how our minds work on that, and how we have these our minds are different engines, and we perceive one thing as different when it's actually the exact same as the other thing, to me. So and then whenever there is an issue with the cameras and stuff, people always talk about the negative. They never talk about the positive. These camera systems that we have in place around society and all this, um, they help find lost people. They help track down murder suspects. They help solve murders. Um, I'll just throw something out there. So, like the case of Brian Koneberger, the guy that murdered the four Idaho college students here a few years ago. Um, Cameras played a pivotal role in finding that guy. So without those cameras, that's a lot of information that the police wouldn't have had. They were able to identify his car. People were, within law enforcement, were able to say pretty much exactly what kind of car it was that they were looking for. um, and then you want to talk more about our privacy being invaded and things like this. It's like, okay, we'll take, like, all these little genealogy sites, Ancestry, 21andMe, and all these other sites, right? um, Law enforcement can take a DNA sample from anybody and trace it to a person pretty much anymore, which was the case in Brian Cronenberg too. They that helped find him as well and identify him. So these invasions of privacy have existed for a long time. They're all around us. They have been. These flock cameras are nothing new. Um, in in a lot of these arguments I hear against flock cameras right now, it's like it sounds to me like the people that are arguing against them are people who want to protect criminals. That basically sounds like what it is. Um, if you're if you're a law-abiding citizen, if you're not a criminal, you don't have anything to fear from these cameras. I've been on this planet for 51 years. There's been cameras and microphones all around me. Nothing has ever happened. Nothing has ever happened to me. Um, I don't feel like my privacy is being invaded. And I would also pose the question to the people that are such strong proponents of the flock system right now. What are you afraid of? What's going to happen? What are you afraid of? Because from my perspective, all these things that I'm hearing about why these cameras are so bad and all this, I just don't see any evidence of that. It doesn't bear out any fruit. So what are you so afraid of with these cameras, other than the fact that you don't like them, or you, you think they're an invasion of privacy? What is gonna, what are you afraid of? Let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know that because I don't understand it. Um, and then just kind of on top of that too, um, if you're let's socialist movement is a big thing going on in this country right now. People want a socialist form of government. uh, so something to take into consideration, um, you know if you're against cameras but you're for socialism, those two ideas do not go well together. If you want a socialist government in this country, you better get used to the idea of having cameras everywhere, and you better get used to the idea of not having the American Constitution and not having a right to privacy, because that's what's going to happen. That's where it will go eventually. If we have a completely socialist, communist government, your rights as an individual are not going to matter. So if the government wants to put a camera somewhere, they'll put a camera somewhere and you don't get any say in that. So if you're a socialist person, a communist person, get used to that idea. um, but other than that, I think these cameras are helpful for society. I think it was Benjamin Franklin that say, um, free people that trade a little bit of freedom for some security deserve neither and will lose both. So that does stick into my mind when issues like this arise. Uh, but I think, given the new information and how big our society is and how complex things have become, and just the evil that exists out there, I believe that Ben Franklin would maybe reassess the situation and his viewpoint, um, given the new information that he would have, um, when it comes to today's society. So uh, that's kind of my hot take, my quick take on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Think about the situation. Think about what I said. Do you agree with stuff? Do you don't? So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.